I knew something was really wrong straight away when I answered the call. Rachel was really upset and crying and just saying that there'd been an accident out at the farm. Charlotte had been kicked in the head by a horse.
Charlotte and I were heading out to feed my horse, as we did a couple of times a week. She loved going out there. I just remember hearing this really loud popping sound and crack. She had her hand up on her head and her eyes started to glaze over a bit. I just remember thinking, no way that was her head. Like, it just didn't even look like she was close enough for that to happen. And it was such a loud noise, I thought there's just no way that was her little head that made that sound. They took one look at her and they said, we need a chopper.
When the helicopter arrived, they said that she would need brain surgery immediately.
She had a fracture of the skull, but that the force had driven some of those bone fragments into the brain itself. It was very close to two critical parts in the brain. One was the motor pathways, and the fracture was also overlying a very important blood vessel.
You know, obviously the question you want to know, is she going to be okay? They just said at that point that they couldn't answer that. It was very serious. They just said, we're not sure if she's going to be okay.
We were very concerned that a major event would occur during the operation itself, just given the complexity of where the fracture was in such a young child.
After the surgery, she was taken into ICU, and that's certainly something I'll never forget, seeing her like that. Yeah, so they've woken her up, and she wasn't sort of responsive, or she had her eyes open, but she just wasn't there. I don't think she knew who we were at that point.
Charlotte was in post-traumatic amnesia, which is a period where patients, after having a traumatic brain injury, are confused and disoriented.
I just remember she couldn't move any of her body.
At the start, progress for Charlotte was quite slow, so it was really unclear about how far she would get. It's a really scary experience for parents to go through and see their child be completely different to who they once were, with no clear indication on who they're going to be once they've made it through rehab.
But slowly over those couple of weeks, I just remember every day there would be one thing that she would do. Like, if I held her hand, she could grip onto my hand. I read her a lot of books while she was in there. I remember flipping over the page and there was Mummy. And she pointed and she said, "That's Mummy." I said, "Yes, that is Mummy." And I said, "I'm Mummy." And she said, "Yeah." Things started to look up from that moment.
Charlotte's been supported intensely by the rehab team, and that includes myself as the occupational therapist, but also a physiotherapist, a speech pathologist, neuropsychologist, music therapist, and allied health assistant support.
They said that she would be spending her third birthday in hospital initially, which was 3 months after the accident, and we were home in 2 months. Charlotte's able to walk again on her own now, which is great. So she's doing so much better than what everyone expected.
Our job as therapists and at the Children's Hospital is to make therapy as fun as possible, and especially with our young ones, to make therapy feel like it's not therapy at all. She's now at home and she is able to walk and run around. She's using her arm completely functionally. She's very chatty and very social.
I don't think there's any words that you can say to someone that's just saved your little daughter's life.
But what I would say to them today, thinking back on it, is thank you for not just saving her life, but you saved our lives as well.